US comedian Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage last night by a man reportedly carrying a knife and a gun. Where did this happen? The Hollywood Bowl in LA. LA, of course, being the epicentre of woke culture. First, we had Chris Rock being attacked on stage by Will Smith over a joke that hurt his feelings. Now Dave Chappelle gets attacked on stage by an armed lunatic. We know why Dave Chappelle was physically attacked on stage. He was attacked because of his Netflix special from last year, where he criticised trans rights activists, because in woke world, making jokes about trans rights activists warrants a physically violent rebuttal. Used to be a time when all a comedian needed was great jokes. Now they've got to have self-defence training as well. How have we arrived at this point? It's quite clearly an escalation of cancel culture, isn't it? Firstly, people who call themselves the liberal left, the woke cultural establishment, promoted the belief that it was okay to destroy a comedian's career and smear their reputation because that comedian made a joke that ridiculed their values. Now they think it's okay to physically attack comedians telling jokes that they feel actively conflict with their worldview. Logically, you might reasonably assume that the next step in stopping comedians telling jokes that undermine the current woke narrative could be public execution. Anyone who laughs at the fact that there are now 78 gender pronouns or pokes fun at critical race theory could well end up hung from a lamppost, surrounded by a baying mob of blue-haired, private school educated, iPhone wielding, amorphous blobs of humanity, waving rainbow flags and screaming for equality. Yet even today, The Guardian published an article with some witless woke UK comedian defending cancel culture, stating that all comedians have to do is apologise for making a joke and they're allowed to carry on doing comedy. Absolutely self-delusional and a bleak paradigm of the current poisonous state of UK comedy. What was an ideological culture war has escalated into violence, and predictably it's the woke left, the people who imagine themselves to be morally superior, the people who think that they're championing social justice and making the world a better place, who have fallen further into a gutter of indefensible behaviour. The woke left now increasingly believe that physical violence is an appropriate reaction to a joke that ridicules the fucked up worldview that they're trying to propagate. It's not enough for woke leftists anymore to get people sacked from their jobs, to publicly smear them with lies, to threaten them and their families in private messages or dox them on social media. Now they want to physically harm people who make jokes about them and their stupid fucking dogma. If you're one of these people who identifies with this woke culture, at what point do you start to question yourself? At what point do you start to think maybe you're not the good guys in all this? At what point do you start to engage in a bit of critical thinking? How about right now, you thick cunts?